I think in order to stand against the openly evil forces at play, it is necessary not to be in denial, to come to terms with the situation and the sorts of people pushing the 2030 agenda forward. The woke, everything's okay, blind to what's happening mentality, a government psyop, certainly being instigated through the universities. Technology good, climate change real. Ironic, but pertinent to the rules of inversion, that the racist, misogynist, nature-hating rulers promote trans, Black Lives Matter, or environmental issues. The proof of which the presence of said younger peoples at, say, counter-protests against valid issues like illegal immigration and other foreign issues, which they are doing nothing personally to resolve and will play out anyway while ignoring the actual problems at home. This is by design. To create a situation whereby when the people start to push back, the youth, especially more privileged ones, will identify and go along with the regime. I wouldn't be surprised if something like this happened in the early days of Nazi Germany. Flag waving and politicization. Ditto communist Russia. It also serves the purpose of creating one of the big divisions, young against older, specifically rejecting the teachings and advice of parents, so as to be open to the controlled media message and agents in the education system, trying to break down trust and community. Promoting the noisy cars, dangerous motorbikes, mindless meme watching, immodest clothing made of questionable artificial materials, chemicals in so many so-called beauty products, shampoo, soaps, plastic surgery. All the small things add up to damage and then replace the existent culture. Mainstream media puppets have kept, as long as possible, the issues of what's being done to the countryside and inside the medical system, things that affect everyday people, as in food and shelter, on the back burner. Everything about the New World Order philosophy, an assault on common sense and standards. They will hold back flat Earth as long as possible, because if you're just a monkey hybrid on a random sphere with no understanding of life and death outside basic biology, then what does future generations even matter, or this one? The globe paradigm and NASA's space with aliens draws away from personal empowerment. The Bible never mentions of such places, just referring to the story here under the firmament. Beyond the dazzle, more people are seeing behind the curtain at the end of The Wizard of Oz. The 20th century leaders and famous for who they are, actors. The secret societies may try to philosophically justify their war on nature by saying evil is just a part of the human condition and an eternal balance is being played out. But then the Bible teaches you have free will to choose on a personal level. Moreover, there are repercussions for choosing wrong. Matthew 7:13. Enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. After taking over Christianity, the Catholics wanted to suppress access to the Bible and hid many other texts. The good news is that every soul is equal in the making of history, that this has been manipulated to hide that part we played, which was a better, more advanced and artistic society. Only the medieval peasant on a dirt road in a floppy hat could justify the deteriorating quality of life and freedom for the majority. The true heritage is still in some architecture and monuments, a few texts, but possibly doctored, word of mouth, and using perception while completely rejecting the mainstream science and many other subjects as they stand. Every indication is that our forebears were the actual makers of decent culture and urban areas all across the earth. Centre. Gleason's map is accurate for most purposes. Flight and ship routes. The land masses around the North Pole area. The ice ring as well, an observable and logical certainty. Not so much the scale and possibility of other large islands in the circling southern oceans. Below, a temple in India. The delicate structuring is such you can tell it is supposed to complement, give way to the atmosphere. The impeccable, clean condition of the stone would have been the case in the European Old World buildings, weather and rain allowing. But that's why they are in the main sturdier, but also with a mind to antenna and ornamentation at roof level. Above, the Mayan model gives the bird's eye view from outside the firmament. Sun and moon within, close by and large. What might represent a North Star, the others are speckled in and outside. The downward growing tree, coming out of the bottom of the pyramid, reminds of a quote from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, verse 1. There is an imperishable banyan tree that has its roots upwards and its branches down. These are the things that point to a cooperating, intermingling earthly society that all knew about flat earth cosmology. Below, the UK government flaunts the deception in our faces with calling it the Eden Project, an eco-attraction in Cornwall. For £38 you can walk around a replica of the dome we actually live under. It shows how a completely self-contained, unique environment can be obtained by putting a layer to hold in the air pressure, and also a choice of fauna and flora to interact with the air. In rainforests, these areas hold in the moisture and heat. The government can use this theory in geoengineering these mini climate bubbles to cover just one city or county, completely altering the climate whatever time of year it is.